So, greetings, children on the Most High. This is your brother Chukwemeka. So, what's been going on in Nigeria with the NSAS protests that's going on? To be honest, I can't say that I don't like it. I think I like the idea that the youths are coming together under one umbrella and they are organizing themselves. For those of you who are not Nigerians, and I know that a significant number of my subscribers are not Nigerians, you begin to understand why the Igbo people, the people from southeastern Nigeria, want to separate from the country. It's situations like this that begin to peel off the layers of the onions, that begin to open up those canker worms, those hidden secrets, and you begin to see why we are agitating for Biafra, or at least to get out of, to restructure the country in Nigeria. And sometimes it's interesting to me that what some southeastern, I won't say it's only Igbos, because the Biafra war was not only the Igbos, the Ibibios, the Efik, all of them, even some Yorubas, they all fought on the side of Biafra. But you begin to understand why some of those elders saw that this British concoction we call Nigeria is just not working, and it's not going to work out. Because when you have a group of people whose ideas and methodology does not seem to change with time, when you have a people whose approach to life is based on religion or their perception of religion, you begin to wonder, seriously, how long can we take this? But brothers and sisters, I have to tell the truth. There are two areas of the SARS that this protest, there are two areas of it that worries me. One is that I wish we were protesting for a more pressing issue, like leadership issue. End SARS, well, I'm not okay. End police brutality, yes, of course. Police reform, yes, of course, I agree. End SARS itself, well, not exactly, but if we can reform police brutality, I'll tell you my police brutality story, okay? I am for end police brutality. In some years ago, like almost 19 years ago, I was in Enugu and I found myself in jail in one of the cells there in the police station. So I was in jail and it was like a 20 square foot room, and at that first night, by the second night, there were like 30 something of us in that room. It was really crowded. And the reason I went to cell is I didn't commit any crime, to be honest. The police just saw me and some people by the side of the road and they just lock us up. That's the police brutality we're talking about. Just the police were driving by and they saw some boys by the side of the road in Enugu, and they said that they heard that there were armed robbers about there. I said, well, we are not armed robbers. They said they don't care. That they took us to cell, and I stayed there for 1 week. That's my story. Anyway, on the third night there, when I was in cell, they brought in two guys, and these guys look like they have been beaten and battered. They look injured. There were wounds all over their body. So they brought them and dumped them in the same room with us. And the IBB of the cell, IBB is the leader of the cell. IBB, of course, is an abbreviation for a former head of state, Ibrahim Babangida. Ibrahim Babangida was not the head of state at that time, but I guess the news does not go around in prisons. So the IBB and other senior members of the cell started screaming, "Come and take these people out of here! Come and take them out of here! Come and take them out of here!" They were screaming. And everybody in the cell joined them, including me. But I didn't know why they wanted these guys not to be part of us. I could see the fear in their eyes. The IBB and other elders of this cell, they were really, really scared, and they were screaming, throwing themselves on the ground, banging on the metal door in the cell. They were just screaming. It was causing a situation to the extent that the police had to react. The police had to come in. They threatened us with tear gas, and we kept on screaming and screaming that they should come and take these guys out of here. Eventually, they acquiesced and they took the guys and took them somewhere to another room. We could still see them, but they were separate from where we were. And when the whole thing calmed down, by that night, around 2 a.m. in the night, or about 1 or 2 a.m. in the night, in the morning, those the SARS people came and they took those boys and left. And we all know what's going to happen there. Just we all know that they are going to take them somewhere. They will make them dig up their own grave and they'll shoot them and bury them there. That's just we know that's what's going to happen. So when and even before they left, those boys were crying and confessing their sins and praying to God for mercy and stuff. We all know it was their last day on the planet. And it was very obvious. So when the whole thing calmed down, I was talking to one of the IBB of the cell, and I asked him why didn't they want these guys to stay with us? And the IBB told me, and some other younger ones in the cell who were really curious about the situation, and they told us that these SARS people, you don't know them. When they come in at night to carry those arm robbers and go, they will carry anybody they see with the arm robbers. You can be pleading, I'm not one of them, they won't listen to you. They'll just carry everybody from that cell and go and shoot you and throw you somewhere. And those policemen you see us at that time, they're on day duty. They won't be on night duty, so they won't know which is which. And so they will just say, yeah, carry all of them, and they will take everybody and go and shoot them and throw them away. This is what happens in Nigerian cells. I'm not naive enough to say that it only happens in Nigeria. It can happen anywhere. We live in an unjust world. But this is the situation, especially in eastern Nigeria. Lots of people lose their life on a daily basis, but we don't know. Especially in the hands of some police operatives. This was my situation. I witnessed this. Okay, and if these elders of the prison were not screaming, let's say we were just a few young boys in cell that day, and they brought in these criminals and joined. When those SARS came in at night, they would have taken everybody. They would have taken all of us and gone and kill us for no reason. Because when I was in that jail, the police kept on changing the reason why they brought us in. They have a blackboard somewhere, and the day they brought us in, they wrote that we had communal disturbance, that we're drinking and fighting, which wasn't true. The next day they wrote that we were suspected armed robbers. The next day they wiped it and wrote that we are attempted manslaughter. How do you attempt manslaughter? I don't really know, but that was what they wrote. They kept on writing all kinds of nonsense for us. So that's the situation. Somebody can just find himself in jail for no reason. Like I said, I was just on the street by 9 o'clock in the night. That's why I ended up in jail for 1 week. That's how bad the situation is in eastern Nigeria. My father has a shop in Onitsha somewhere. The police came one day and said that we heard that some people are selling stolen goods, and they arrested everybody on the street. Luckily for my father, he wasn't around when the arrest happened, but they arrested everybody on the street that have shop on that street. They arrested them and took them to Asaba, and my father had to go to Asaba and report himself. Or like he heard that they arrested some of his colleagues, and they said he shouldn't worry that they have already arrested those they want to arrest. So they had to go and raise funds to bail his colleagues. The police gave no proof of the stolen. There was no indication of anybody stealing anything, but they just said, "Oh, we heard that somebody is selling stolen goods," and they arrested people. And they had to use about 50,000 naira to bail the people they bailed. I don't know how much it cost for the entire enterprise. This is what happens. We are hearing now that the SARS is selling human parts. This is what happens. Organ trafficking is very high in this country. The name on everybody's lips is Officer Samuel Nwafo in Okuzu SARS, which is very, very notorious SARS. The SARS in Okuzu is notorious, is almost as notorious as the one in Amobia. Those guys they waste people on daily basis. And but those SARS now that are accused of trafficking human organs, they are Igbos. And those human organs they are trafficking, they are Igbo organs too. That's what we're doing to ourselves. Do you remember some years ago in Ezu River? Ezu River is the river that separates Anambra and Enugu State, where over 300 bodies just flowed up from nowhere, and all of them have gunshot wounds. They have some kind of maiming and everything. And then Masob Massaud made it very clear that these are their members that were being killed on a daily basis by SARS. It didn't surprise me because of what I witnessed in Enugu. But this is what we are doing to ourselves. A childhood friend of mine was murdered a month ago in his shop in an outskirt of Onitsha. I've forgotten the village near Onitsha where he has a shop and he just got married. He has a daughter and he has a shop and he's selling his things. And some people came, they are called boys. After stealing from his shop and on their way out, one of them just decided to just shoot him for fun. And they murdered my childhood friend for nothing. He is the breadwinner of his family. He just has a young daughter and some cult boys who are all Igbos. We are all Igbos. And these are the people that we're all going to do Biafra with. So sometimes you begin to wonder seriously, what is wrong with us as a tribe? And if you are in the kind of line that I am, if you are evangelizing like I do, try to call the people back to the ways of our God, it's very depressing and disheartening. How do you begin to even preach to a people that we are the people of the Bible when you witness on a daily basis the kind of cruelty we exert on each other? What did my friend do to deserve being murdered by people who claim to be cults? Speaking of cults, was it not Owode Soyinka that brought cult to Nigeria? Was it not Owode Soyinka and his Yoruba friends that brought cult to Nigeria? Today, the Yorubas are not killing themselves with cults. It's the Igbos that have inherited this and we're killing each other based on what the Yorubas initiated. And we're wiping out our population. Over the month, between the month of July and September, more than 10 people died in Oka due to cult shooting. More than 10 between Oka and Ekulobia. What for? This is how we're going to do the Biafra. So it's really painful when you see the situation. What are you people gaining with this cult? I don't know. I honestly don't know. What are you people gaining? People who are not strong men, they are the ones that join cults. Because the people that join those cults are those that cannot stand on their feet. They need people to be around them all the time. And I know a whole lot of people in my class that are in cults. And even when we go for our reunions, they still behave in that childlike way. These are people that if you leave them alone in the desert, they are dead. If they don't have people around them, they just die off. They cannot think on their own. They cannot stand on their feet. They are perpetual Peter Pans. They're not men enough to have independent thoughts and action. Those are the kind of people that are recruited for cults. And it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. I mean, I see so many YouTube videos where Igbos are celebrating Sea Dog Association, Bulldog this, Buccaneers that. These are idiots. These are people that are lost. Complete idiots. And most of these people are people who are married with children and they are supposed to know that, okay, this Boy Scout thing we did as a child needs to stop. It's not building our communities, it's destroying our communities. They need to stop this nonsense. But they come out there wearing their useless, shiny clothes and begin to pretend like they're big boys. These are idiots. Total idiots. The only thing I will tell you, brothers and sisters, is that these people you're seeing, this officer Wafo and his SAS butchers, human butchers, and this idiot cult people that go and kill people. Before, cults used to be for those who are in higher institution. Now, every mechanic out there is a cult. Every barrel pusher is a cult. Because they have to generate funds. That's all it is. Those who lead cults, they have to generate funds. And so, if you have to get those funds from people who are on the streets, you get them. As long as you make them feel like they are big. It's all about money. It's just like the churches. It's just all about money. The sooner, because people are very generous when it comes to this kind of nonsense, the day we stop funding these things, that's the day this cancer will be wiped out from our communities. The only thing I'll tell you, brothers and sisters, these people are not the future of our tribe. They are not. They will die like chickens. They will be left on the roadside. The future of our tribe will be what it used to be when good men and women stand up for what is right and pursue these cult, religious, whatever people out of the community. That is the future of our tribe. I can assure you of that. But brothers and sisters, there's another element of this protest that bothers me. To be honest with you, I cannot sit down and tell you that this thing is not orchestrated out of Nigeria. I don't know, but it's possibly orchestrated out of Nigeria because what we are clamoring for, NSAS, doesn't really make a lot of sense. If we're clamoring for better leadership to reform in the constitutional or democratic process, that would make more sense to me. But I was surprised with the level of coordination and organization that comes with it. It is not unheard of for something like this to be orchestrated from outside of the country just to hold the country to ransom. For instance, we also saw what happened with the Black Lives Matter protest in the US. It's not really for what's that guy's name? George Floyd. It's not really for George Floyd. I don't really think that is true. The whole thing looks so drafted, so acted to me. The police, when I look at how he was supposedly knelt on and he died, and it looks so acted, but I don't really care. It's not uncommon for that something like that not to be happening here with this NSAS protest. While this is going on, let me call on brothers and sisters to also look at what is happening in the rest of the world, in the real world. They are not talking about COVID again. Usually, when they are doing protests, goes on vacation until after the whole protest. Then COVID will start going up. This might be a reason for them to initiate another lockdown and say, "Oh yeah, you guys went out protesting. That's why COVID came back." That could be. But again, don't forget that all over the world they are laying down situations to lead to food scarcity next year and the upper year. If you look at countries or food producing regions of every country, either there's flood or there's some kind of freak accident happening. Don't forget that that's going on. And while these things are happening, you also look at the big picture and see that they are already orchestrating situation for the population by hunger and scarcity. And that might kick in by 2021, 2022, if not earlier. Right now, a bag of rice costs about 30 something thousand. Before, like 6 months ago, it was 18,000. It has doubled in price. You know. So I want to call brothers and sisters' attention to what's going on. It's time for us to be careful and to be prayerful as well. Going for all these rallies, people do go missing when there are rallies. You have no idea how many people got missing in the US during this so-called George Floyd stuff. And that's happening in this country too. Usually these demons that pull out their plan, they do it when there are situations like this. So if you're going out there, just be careful. I will encourage everybody to join the protest and be part of whatever change that's coming in. But just be careful. Know that it is in situations like this that some demons come out to act. And may the Most High protect his people. Salam.